Heyo, and welcome back to Cartoon Mania. Today we're going to recap Ninjago. Ninjago is one of the most amazing LEGO cartoons ever made. In today's episode, we'll summarize its 15 seasons altogether. I'll share the adventures of the ninjas, the toughest enemies they faced, and the legendary conclusion of their journey. By the end of this, you'll understand the full story of Ninjago without having to watch it. Okay, the tale begins in the first realm, the home of the Oni and the dragons. The Oni held the power to destroy, while the dragons could create. These two opposing forces were locked in endless conflict until a child, born of both Oni and dragon, came into the picture. This child tried to bring peace, but the fighting only grew worse. Realizing that the battle would never end, the child decided to leave the realm. He fled to another land made up of islands surrounded by the ocean. And in this new land, the struggles continued. A massive sea serpent named Vojira ruled the seas, wielding wind and water powers. To stop Vojira and save the realm, the boy joined forces with the islanders and the people of Mopia. Together, they faced Vojira, but their efforts weren't enough until a water elemental master named Nyad merged with the sea and removed two powerful jewels from Vojira's head. This put Vojira into an eternal slumber. After Vojira was defeated, the two talismans were created. One went to the islanders and the other to Mopia. The boy, now known as the first Spinjitzu master, developed Spinjitzu, a unique martial art. He climbed the Golden Hills to build the Temple of Light and created 4 golden weapons with powers of fire, earth, ice, and lightning. Using these weapons, he shaped a land and called it Ninjago, where he spent the rest of his life. Over time, the Oni built temples in Ninjago to watch over the first Spinjitzu master. However, a great evil known as the Overlord rose to challenge him. Overlord created a powerful stone army, and a fierce battle began. To protect his home, his first Spinjitzu master split Ninjago into 2 lands. One remained Ninjago, while the other became the Dark Island, where the Overlord and his forces were banished. He also created the Crystal Realm to make travel between the 16 newly formed realms possible. As life flourished in Ninjago, creatures known as Serpentine appeared. The first Spinjitzu master had 2 sons, Wu with the power of creation and Garmadon with the power of destruction. He also created a prophecy about the Green Ninja who would one day defeat the Overlord. The Overlord, planning his return, used the snake to inject Garmadon with evil, turning him into a vessel of darkness. This snake later became known as the Great Devourer, though it would take years for its evil to fully corrupt Garmadon. The first Spinjitzu master trained his sons in elemental powers in Spinjitzu. However, he also developed Forbidden Spinjitzu, a dangerous form of the art that no one was meant to use. Wu befriended a Serpentine girl named F, teaching her Spinjitzu, but F betrayed him, using her knowledge to overthrow her king and seize power. Wu, with Garmadon's help, stopped F and locked her away, though she vowed revenge. Eventually, the first Spinjitzu master passed away, leaving behind his tomb, which also housed the Crystal Realm. Its location was kept secret, with only Wu and Garmadon knowing its clues. Grieving his father's loss, Garmadon left Wu alone in the monastery. Meanwhile, elsewhere in Ninjago, a pirate named Captain Soto searched for the Dark Island. After clashing with a genie named Nodakon, Soto sealed a weapon in a teapot and scattered his crew across the realms. His ship sank and he and his crew were lost. Sensei Yang later created a new martial art called Air Jitsu. In his quest for immortality, Yang used the Sword of Yin, but it cursed them and his students, turning them into ghosts. High in the mountains, a new kingdom named Chinaro emerged. There, a brilliant engineer, Dr. Julian, created a mechanical child and raised him as his own. He named this child Zane. While Wu remained at the monastery training his students, Garmadon trained under Master Chen alongside another student, Klaus. One of Wu's students was Maro, a descendant of the Wind Elemental Master. Wu believed Maro could become the Green Ninja and fulfill the Green Ninja prophecy. However, the Golden Weapons rejected Maro, deeming him unworthy. This deeply frustrated Maro, and in his anger, he made reckless choices to prove Wu wrong, eventually leaving the monastery. Meanwhile, Misako and Wu grew close, and Wu began to develop feelings for her. Misako wrote Wu a love letter, but Chen intercepted it and tricked Garmadon into signing it instead. Chen, who also had feelings for Misako, further fueled the tension. Around this time, the Serpentine created their own prophecy, foretelling the rise of a Golden Lord who would destroy the world. When Garmadon realized Chen's deceit, he abandoned him. Soon, a war erupted between the Serpentine and the humans. Wu and Garmadon led the Elemental Alliance, a group of elemental masters. Among them was a member of the powerful snake species called the Anaconda. Chen manipulated the Elemental Alliance, sowing distrust among its members. Sacred flutes discovered to control the Serpentine were used to imprison the Serpentine tribes in separate tombs. The war ended with the Elemental Alliance victorious, and the Anaconda leaders were exiled to the Cursed Realm. Chen and Klaus were also banished to an isolated island. However, Chen's schemes led the twin elemental masters of time, Crux and Acronix, to rebel against the Elemental Alliance. Ray and Maya, the elemental masters of fire and water, forged the four swords of time, which could harness the twins' powers. These swords were used to send Crux and Acronix through a time rift. To avoid being lost in time, the twins entered the rift, but Crux managed to return later, hiding one of the time blades. Wu concealed another blade in the boiling sea. Meanwhile, Garmadon and Misako's relationship grew. They married and had a child, though Wu was unaware that his brother had betrayed him. Over time, elemental masters settled in Ninjago, passing their powers to their children. Morrow, in his obsession to prove himself, perished and his soul crossed into the Cursed Realm. The new Earth Elemental Master later battled a dragon known as the Griefbringer in the kingdom of Shintaro. After defeating it, he gave 2 swords to the geckos and months, the 2 species living there, before returning to Ninjago. In Shintaro, King Vangelis sent adventurers to the caves below to retrieve an ancient skull with demonic powers. Though they recovered the skull, the king forced them back into the caves, where they vanished. Using the skull's power, the king enslaved the geckos for months. Meanwhile, the Great Devourer's poison fully corrupted Garmadon, turning him completely evil. Garmadon sought to steal the golden weapons to reshape Ninjago, but Wu intervened. The brothers clashed with the golden weapons and Garmadon gained the upper hand. However, before he could finish Wu, a defensive spell on Wu's chest activated, striking Garmadon with lightning. The blast disfigured Garmadon, causing him to fall into the underworld of Ninjago. In the underworld, the Skeleton King and his army prepared to attack Garmadon, but he swore to take revenge on Wu by gaining control of the skeletons. Knowing his brother would return, Wu hid the golden weapons across Ninjago, placing a dragon to guard each one. He entrusted the map of their locations to Ray, the Fire Elemental Master, to keep it safe. Ray and Maya had children of their own, a boy and a girl named Kai and Nia. They often spoke with a new friend who was secretly Crux in disguise. One day, Crux kidnapped Ray and Maya, leaving their 2 children behind at their blacksmith shop, where a kind couple found and raised them as their own. The Earth Elemental Master fell ill and eventually passed away, leaving behind a grieving husband and son. The Ice Elemental Master, lost in a dense forest, crossed paths with Dr. Julian and Zane. Realizing his time had come to an end, the Ice Master entrusted his powers to Zane before vanishing. As the years passed, Dr. Julian grew older and eventually passed away, but not before resetting Zane's memory by turning off his memory switch. Under Garmadon's orders, Samukai revived Dr. Julian and kidnapped him, hoping to use him to aid the skeleton army. When Julian refused, he was imprisoned in a tower in the middle of the ocean. Misako, after giving birth to her son, recognized his potential to fulfill the Green Ninja prophecy. Fearing Garmadon's dark influence as the potential Dark Lord, she left her child at a boarding school and set out to find another way to fulfill the prophecy. Years later, Wu realized he couldn't stand against Garmadon alone and began searching for new elemental masters. He found the Earth Elemental Masters on a mountain, recruited Jay, the Lightning Master, and rediscovered Zane. Together, they began their training at the bottom of a lake, but still needed one more person, which was Kai, the new Fire Master. Kai was working with his sister Nia at their family's blacksmith shop when Wu approached them. Initially, Kai refused to join, but when skeletons kidnapped Nia, he changed his mind. After training with Wu, Kai joined the team. They recovered 3 of the golden weapons, but the skeletons managed to take them to the underworld. To save Nia, Garmadon forced Kai to retrieve the final weapon. Kai agreed, but Wu intervened, taking the weapon himself and heading to the underworld to protect the young ninjas. Determined to save Wu, the ninjas ventured into the underworld, where they were surrounded by skeletons. Using the Tornado of Creation, they fought back. Samukai, the skeleton leader, stole the sword from Wu and tried to use all 4 golden weapons against Garmadon. However, the weapon's immense power caused them to explode, creating a portal to the realm of madness. Garmadon ended up escaping through the portal. Meanwhile, Garmadon's son, Lloyd, was expelled from boarding school and accidentally freed the Hypnobrai, a serpentine tribe. The Hypnobrai betrayed Lloyd and opened the tombs of other serpentine tribes, including Pythor, the last Anaconda. As events unfolded, Zane regained his memories and Wu ventured to the realm of madness to confront Garmadon. There, he discovered Garmadon had gained 4 arms, allowing him to wield all of the golden weapons. Garmadon eventually helped the ninjas rescue Lloyd, who was revealed to be the Green Ninja. The Serpentine gathered the 4 Fang Blades to release the Great Devourer. Though Pythor was defeated, the Devourer emerged, forcing the ninjas to rely on Garmadon and the golden weapons to defeat it. During the attack, a young girl and her family were caught in the chaos. Her parents died, and she was adopted by a loyal family. As she grew up, she idolized Garmadon and developed a deep hatred for the ninjas. The girl's name was Harumi. After Garmadon defeated the Great Devourer, he escaped with the golden weapons. Meanwhile, Pythor was freed from the Devourer's stomach, but the acid had turned his scale white and began to seep underground. Garmadon seized control of the Serpentine and took the golden weapons to the Golden Peaks, where he combined them to forge the Mega Weapon. During this time, Lloyd was affected by an aging powder that caused them to age several years in an instant. Garmadon used the Mega Weapon to travel back in time, hoping to stop the ninjas from ever meeting. However, the 4 ninjas followed him, and during their pursuit, the Mega Weapon was destroyed, sending Garmadon hurtling into space, where he landed on a comet. Garmadon was later revived by the poison of the Great Devourer and dragged to the Dark Island. There, the Overlord merged with him, granting him control over the Stone Army. Deep beneath the city of Ninjago, the poison awakened ancient stone warriors, who then locked the Serpentine underground and wreaked havoc across the city. The ninjas traveled to the Dark Island, finding Dr. Julian along the way. Garmadon created a weapon using dark matter to plunge Ninjago into darkness, completing the Overlord's centuries-old plan. The Overlord took possession of Garmadon's body, but Lloyd, now the ultimate Spinjitzu master, used his golden powers to defeat him, purging the darkness from Garmadon. After the battle, Ninjago was left in ruins. Cyrus Borg led efforts to rebuild the city, creating a futuristic design and erecting Borg Tower on the site where the Overlord was defeated. Borg also created a robotic assistant named Pixel. Dr. Julian passed away again from old age, and the Serpentine, having become more civilized, built their own society in the Stone Warrior tombs and remained underground. Garmadon, now free from his dark past, became a sensei and trained students in peaceful combat techniques as atonement. However, a virus containing the essence of the Overlord infected the Borg Tower and the city's systems. The Overlord created an army of Nindroids to hunt the ninjas and steal Lloyd's golden powers. With Pythor's help, the Overlord succeeded in fulfilling the Golden Master prophecy, regaining enough strength to assume a physical form. Lloyd, however, escaped and divided his powers among the 4 ninjas. The Nindroids retrieved the golden weapons, which were reforged into golden armor. Zane sacrificed himself to defeat the Overlord once more, but it was later revealed that Zane had built himself a new body. The ninjas, having separated after Zane's presumed death, reunited to participate in a fighting tournament organized by Master Chen. Chen sought to gather all the elemental masters to complete a spell that would transform him and his followers into Anaconda warriors. Garmadon defeated Chen and banished them to the Cursed Realm, where the original Anaconda generals emerged to punish the imposters. This event caused Morrow to return as a ghost. He took over Lloyd's body in his quest for power, while Cole was turned into a ghost by Sensei Yang. Nia unlocked her true potential as the Water Elemental Master, and with her new powers, the ghosts were defeated. Morrow eventually made peace with Wu, giving him the Realm Crystal before disappearing into the sea, where he met his end. In the following season, Klaus escaped the destruction of the Cursed Realm and found the teapot once used by Captain Soto. He freed Nadakon, the Djinn, but was trapped inside the teapot himself. Nadakon captured the Realm Crystal and used it to search for his crew. Returning to his home realm, the Ninjago, which was in ruins, Nadakon's father gave him the family sword. Nadakon used the sword's power to imprison all the ninjas, except Jay, inside the sword. Back in Ninjago, Nadakon used the sword to rebuild Jinjago and planned to marry Nia to consolidate his power. However, Nia gained immense strength after being struck by poison, enabling her to thwart his plans and stand against him. Jay reverses time to the moment before the discovery of the teapot, resetting events. Eventually, Jay and Nia become a couple. In the following season, Cole begins to fade from existence and journeys to Sensei Yang's temple, seeking revenge. Yang revives statues of the ninjas' past enemies, who start replacing the living. Moro warns Wu of the statues' resurrection, and the ninjas defeat them. Cole, passing through a rift, regains his human form. At the monastery, Wu waits for the time rift to reopen, hoping to confront Acronix. As Wu rapidly ages, Acronix and Crux reunite. The Time Twins collect 3 time blades to power their time machine and the Iron Doom. Kai and Nia find their parents, Rei and Maya, but must also recover the last time blade to save Wu. The twins escape to the past through a time rift, followed by Wu, Kai, and Nia. In the final battle, the ninjas stop the twins and use one of the blades to halt Wu's aging. However, Wu begins to regress and transforms into a baby. A year after Wu's disappearance, the ninjas continue searching for him while protecting Ninjago. Misako eventually finds baby Wu, but both are captured by Princess Harumi and her gang, the Sons of Garmadon. Harumi sends a robot, Mr. E, to steal the Oni Mask of Vengeance. The Sons of Garmadon attack the royal palace, stealing the Oni Mask of Deception and killing the royal family. Harumi hides her involvement from the ninjas. Lloyd discovers baby Wu while Harumi uncovers the Oni Mask of Hatred in one of the Oni temples. Harumi reveals her hatred for the ninjas and escapes, using the mask to perform a ritual at the Temple of Resurrection to revive Garmadon's evil side. Although the ninjas try to stop her, Garmadon is reborn. Lloyd fights his father but loses both the battle and his powers. The ninjas manage to save Lloyd with the help of one of Wu's old friends. As Garmadon unleashes his gigantic colossi, the ninjas narrowly escape using Traveler's Tea to flee to another realm. Lloyd and Nia stay behind to resist Garmadon's forces, while Kai, Cole, Zane, Jay, and Wu are sent to the first realm. There, they are hunted by the Dragon Hunters, led by the Iron Baron. The group seeks the dragon armor and ventures into Oni territory, receiving help from Faith, a former dragon hunter. They learn the Mother Dragon left the realm long ago. The Iron Baron captures Wu, forcing him to retrieve the dragon armor. However, the Mother Dragon's first offspring kills the Iron Baron and aids the ninjas in returning to Ninjago. Meanwhile, Garmadon strengthens his grip on Ninjago and sends the Sons of Garmadon to hunt Lloyd. Lloyd forms a resistance consisting of Nia, Pixel, Skylord, Dareth, and Mistake, and other elemental masters. They infiltrate Borg Tower to broadcast a message rallying Ninjago's citizens against Garmadon. However, their hideout is discovered and all are captured except Lloyd, Nia, Skylord, and Dareth. Mistake reveals herself as an Oni sent to track the first Spinjitzu master. She sacrifices herself during a confrontation with Garmadon. Skylord absorbs Garmadon's powers, but is unable to defeat him. In the chaos, Harumi is crushed under a collapsing building. Wu and the ninjas return to Ninjago and reunite with the team. Together they confront Garmadon, with Lloyd regaining his powers and defeating his father, who loses his powers and is imprisoned. Before being locked away, Garmadon warns Lloyd of an impending threat, the Oni. In the aftermath, Harumi is resurrected by the Overlord, who strikes a deal with her. She begins collecting the Stone of Vengeance, a material capable of nullifying elemental powers, from King Vangelis. To stop the Oni invasion, the ninjas reluctantly release Garmadon. Together, Garmadon and Lloyd destroy the Crystal Realm, but it is too late to stop the Oni's arrival. Using the golden armor once worn by the Overlord, the ninjas hold back the Oni. Kai reforges the golden armor into the golden weapons, and the team uses the Tornado of Creation to defeat the Oni and Garmadon. In the following season, the ninjas discover an ancient serpentine tomb alongside adventurer Clutch Powers. An accident releases an ancient snake who resurrects his army to seek the forbidden scrolls of Spinjitzu. The snake steals Kai's powers but manages to obtain one scroll. The ninjas use the second scroll to fight him. In a final showdown, the snake attempts to kill Wu but is frozen by Zane, who is sent to the Nether Realm as a result. In the Nether Realm, Zane loses his memories and falls under the manipulation of an outcast named Vex. Zane captures the realm's emperor and turns his forces into Blizzard Samurai. Vex offers the ninjas a chance to join the Ice Emperor, but they refuse. The Ice Emperor freezes the realm, sparing only a young girl named Akita. Wu prepares to enter the Nether Realm to save Zane, but the other ninjas go in his place. They find shelter in a village oppressed by the Ice Emperor and learn of his tyranny. Lloyd, determined to save Zane, sets out alone while the others stay to protect the villagers. Lloyd meets Akita, who seeks revenge on the Ice Emperor. The village is frozen by the Ice Emperor's dragon, but the ninjas remain unharmed. Lloyd battles the Ice Emperor while Kai destroys the dragon. Zane regains his power and memories, and Vex is banished. The ninjas then return to Ninjago. And in the next season, a villain called the Mechanic tries to steal a motherboard, but the ninjas retrieve it. At the Mechanic's lair, they discover an arcade machine into which Jay places the motherboard. This action activates the machine, pulling them into a game called Prime Empire. The game spreads, drawing other players inside. Kai, Cole, Nia, and Lloyd enter the game to rescue Jay and the trapped players. Meanwhile, Zane, Pixel, and Wu find Milton Dyer, the game's creator. Inside Prime Empire, the ninjas locate Jay but must face the game's ruler, Unagami. After collecting 3 katanas, Unagami uses them to power a portal to the real world. Jay defeats Unagami, convincing him to free everyone trapped in the game. In the following season, the ninjas are invited to Shintaro for Princess Vanya's birthday. Cole and Vanya discover dungeons beneath the city and rescue some of the geckos and months. They reunite the two species to face King Vangelis, known as the Skull Sorcerer. Though the ninjas are initially captured, Cole, with help from Vanya and adventurers sent by Vangelis, reaches the deepest parts of Shintaro. Cole defeats the Skull Sorcerer with a Spinjitzu burst, and Vangelis is imprisoned. Vanya becomes queen, halting the city's mining operations. Meanwhile, Harumi is forced to smuggle the Stone of Vengeance, using criminals to aid her. Ronin pretends to be Wojira, tricking the inhabitants of Guardian Island and stealing their wealth. Misako, Wu, and Clutch Powers are captured by the island's keepers but are later rescued by the ninjas. Jay is nearly sacrificed to the false Wojira, but the ninjas expose Ronin's scheme and capture him and the criminals. In Ninjago's oceans, Prince Kalmar discovers the Temple of Wojira and experiments on the sleeping serpent, causing Nia to lose control of her powers. Kalmar kills his father, blames the ninjas, and takes the throne of Merlopia. His adopted brother, Benthomar, helps the ninjas to escape. Together, they battle Kalmar for the Storm Amulet. Kalmar awakens Wojira, flooding Ninjago. Wojira defeats Kalmar, but Nia sacrifices herself, merging with the sea to stop the destruction. After Wojira's defeat, the ninjas hold a funeral for Nia. Benthomar becomes the king of Merlopia. And in the final season, a newly elected president forms a replacement ninja team. They capture Pythor and intercept shipments of the Stone of Vengeance. Meanwhile, Nia regains her memories and searches for a way to return. The original ninjas escape prison, restore Nia's powers, and reunite her with the team. However, they are soon recaptured. Pythor, Vangelis, and the rebuilt Mr. E join Harumi to form the Crystal King Council. Harumi captures Lloyd, while the council burns the monastery and steals the golden weapons to resurrect the Overlord. Lloyd escapes as the Overlord sends his stone army to attack Ninjago. Almost all citizens are turned into crystal zombies. The ninjas, with Garmadon's help, rally allies including the people of Shintaro, the Merlopians, Islanders, and the Serpentine. Harumi, realizing the Overlord caused her family's death, joins the fight against them, and together they fend off the zombie army. Lloyd confronts the Overlord, who tries to corrupt him, but he resists, finding strength in his inner goodness. The ninjas transfer their powers to a dragon, defeating the Overlord and the Crystal King Council. However, Kai, Cole, Jay, and Zane lose their elemental powers and their golden weapons in the process. And this sacrifice from our heroes concludes the story of Ninjago's 15 seasons. There's also a connected series called Dragons Rising, but its story remains incomplete. In any case, thanks for joining us on this journey through Ninjago's incredible saga. Let us know what you think and what was your favorite moment of the show. Also, if you enjoy our recaps, don't forget to drop us a like and subscribe to Cartoon Mania for more recaps like this on your feed. See you in the next video. Peace!